This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
This is a major achievement. This is a major achievement.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Here, the people rule.
We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. We have so many, we had such a big night. And then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight.
We, the people, will not be silenced. We, the people, will not be bullied. We, the people, will not surrender. We'll come together. We have to stop treating our opponents as enemies.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
And now, every vote must be counted.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
When the count is finished, we will be the winners.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
This is a major achievement. This is a major achievement.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Here, the people rule. Every vote must be counted. I'm not here to declare that we've won.
We were getting ready to win this election.
Every vote must be counted. We will be the winners.
We were getting ready for a big celebration.
It'll be time for us to do what we've always done. Put the campaign behind us. Lower the temperature.
These aren't even close. It's not like, what happened? And then they said, they can't catch us. They can't catch us.
And now, every vote must be counted.
They can't catch us. They can't catch us.
When the count is finished, we will be the winners.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
No one's going to take our democracy away from us.
This is a fraud. This is an embarrassment.
Not now, not ever.
What the fuck?
Wait, what's going on? Wait, I'm losing control of my mouse is like moving on its own. What the fuck? We interrupt your normal broadcast for a special message from the Pentagon.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. And to get hot, I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun.
What did you say?
And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool.
Can you hear me?
And rub my leg down.
Hello?
So it was straight, and then watch the hair
on.
come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches.
Rexy,
I learned about kids jumping
Rexy,
on my lap.
Rexy,
And I
can you hear
love
me?
kids jumping on my lap.
What do you mean by that?
150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
What's wrong with you?
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. We choose science over fiction.
I don't know what's going on. My stream got
facts.
taken over by the
What are you
Pentagon or
talking
something.
about?
Corn Pop
Another
was a
one?
bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
I'm kind of busy right now.
Well, folks, eliminate one tax loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth.
Huh?
$1.4 trillion.
Hey, that's not...
Out of $1.4 billion. It's hard to even say it. It's so much.
Are you under orders from the Patriots?
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Why do you keep saying that?
My long friend, time friend, and she's a friend. She's been my friend in and out of public life. Anyway.
I just remembered something.
What?
That I've never met you in person. Not once.
Who are you, Joe? And what the hell is Corn Pop?
Guess what? I ain't dead, and I'm not gonna die.
What the hell?
There's during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
What?
Can you hear me now?
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
What the?
Why? You're getting nervous, man. Calm down. It's okay.
Cut the crap.
We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs as of today, lives of millions of people. We hold these truths.
You can hear me now? Oh God.
All men and women created by.
I can't control my
You
stream
know
anymore.
you
It's
know
being
the
taken
thing.
over by the Pentagon.
I'm just gonna get back to the mission now.
Raiden, I found out where he is.
Where?
Inside Arsenal.
What?
What's happening?
I've checked out all the possibilities, but I keep coming back to Arsenal. It isn't a relay point, it's the origin of the signal. And the encryption protocol it uses is exactly the same as that of Arsenal's AI, the
Arsenal's
so-called
AI?
GW.
What the hell does this mean?
I think it means you've been talking to an AI. GW was most likely stimulating cortical activity in the dormant part of your brain through signal manipulation of your own nanomachines.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
But it's probably the truth.
It was all an illusion? Everything I've done so far?
What?
Raiden,
Snake.
Snake.
What's happening around here?
I don't know. What I do know is that you're standing right here in front of me. Not an illusion. Flesh and blood.
Huh?
It's your call. You can drop this if you want.
No, I can't do that. Let's go.
Guess what? I ain't dead.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
It should be noted, and I hope you all are duly impressed with the fact that I'm one of the most powerful men in the United States. And you ladies, are you aware of that? Just how powerful I am?
Who are you?
You got to figure it out. And let me tell you something. My community's figured it out a while ago. But here's the deal. COVID has taken this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than 100 years. Look, here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
What?
Come on, man. Get a life. Look, you know, when you take a look at my record, people talk about the crime bill. Crime bill didn't increase mass incarceration. Other things increased mass incarceration.
It's a lie.
That's not true.
Come on, man. Give me a little break here.
Huh? He's asleep?
Dead. 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 What did I say? Remember when I said Biden can't win the primaries? I kicked everybody's ass. Excuse me. I am no more a socialist than, or a communist than Donald Trump is. Well, I won't say it. Anyway, enough's enough. Beat Trump.
Think again. I'm through doing what I'm told.
Oh, really?
If Donald Trump is reelected, all the progress we have made will be in jeopardy.
Damn.
Okay, pal. Thanks a lot. Get a life.
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston.
You gotta
and
get
New
taken
York,
out.
and
You gotta
named
go.
after the great
Joe Biden
George
sucks, but you're
Washington,
worse.
Commander-in-Chief.
You gotta go.
Our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
40 Wall Street actually was the second tallest building in downtown Manhattan.
What are you
And now it's
talking
the tallest.
Nuclear. My uncle was a great professor and scientist and engineer, Dr. John Trump at MIT. Good genes, very good genes, okay?
No,
It's true.
that's not how it
You
works.
have good genes, you know that, right? You know, if you're a conservative Republican, if I were a liberal, if I ran as a liberal Democrat, they would say I'm one of the smartest people anywhere in the world. It's true. You know what uranium is, right? It's a thing called nuclear weapons and other things, like lots of things are done with uranium, including some bad things. We must stop the glorification of
Biden's
violence
sus,
in our society.
but you don't think
This
Trump is
includes
even more
the
sus
gruesome
and
and
there's something
grisly
wrong with
video
your brain?
games that are now commonplace. I know you're a sophisticated guy. The world
Lack
is
of
a
critical
mess.
thinking is what it
The
is.
world is as angry as it gets. The world is a total mess. China has total respect
Take him out.
for Donald Trump.
Get him, Ray.
for Donald Trump's
Get him.
very, very large brain.
Large brain, that's not how it works. No way. Exactly, Forrest. Exactly, Fort. That's big brain thinking. Good thing Biden doesn't have any connections to Epstein. That's one thing he's got. He's not in the flight logs or any of that shit that we know of. But from what's been released, he's not. But that was a picture of Jeffrey Epstein's face. Trump was friends with him. But wait.
And it is time for a president who understands
Biden's dead, or Trump's
Coldplay
dead.
is the best band in the world.
He's gone.
You got that wrong.
No, look,
I got hairy legs. I'm best equipped to beat Donald Trump. That's what your poll said.
Vice President Biden, why are you a better choice than your opponents?
I got hairy legs. Hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. In the sun. Come rub my legs. From the morning until the day's done. Till the day's done.
We are at the end here.
I got hairy legs. Yeah, that's right. You heard what I said. You heard what I said. I got hairy legs. Yeah, man. Watch the hair come back up again. I'm the guy with the best chance to win.
Time is up. Thank
It's
you.
only 60 seconds, not up yet. Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys, a bad crew.
Yes, sir.
I really was the only white guy that really knew. He said, I'll meet you outside. And I said, what am I gonna do? Corn Pop, he can't stop. Corn Pop, he won't stop. Yeah.
That's fine, thank you.
So I'd like to talk about who we're running against. A billionaire who calls women whores.
Snake, get her
and
out of here.
lesbians.
Fuck this
You
song.
can release
Fuck
women
this
from
song.
those
Fuck this part.
requirements immediately.
Fuck this part. I hate
Maybe
it.
they didn't like the joke I told.
Are you willing to release them?
She's the reason Bernie didn't make it.
These
One of the
agreements
reasons.
were made consensually.
I'm the only person on this stage that's got hairy legs. Seriously? Hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
We got other issues we're trying to get
Here's
to.
the last point I want. I mean, my time's going to run out. Here's the last point I want to make to you. I got hairy legs. Yeah.
We are a country where there are too many people that are obese.
I am scared.
Vice President Biden, I want to start with you. Why should anyone have faith that you're the one who can get this done now?
Because I'm the only one that.
stop.
No,
Let's talk about math.
Let's talk about math. Indeed. Okay, so here's the math.
Coldplay is the best band.
Can I respond to the
Why am I stopping? No one else stops.
Okay.
Joe said it right.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Look, I think it's important that on day one, I have more hair than anyone else. I got hairy legs.
I don't care.
Yeah, that's right. You heard what I said. You heard what I said. I was a pretty darn good lifeguard. I learned a lot.
We let this get out of control.
Lived out in Mayfield with my grandpa. We used to play basketball with Corn Pop. And he sank every single shot. Corn Pop, he can't stop. Corn Pop, he won't stop. Yeah, Corn Pop, he sank every shot.
Time is up. Thank you.
I'm not out of time. You spoke over time, and I'm going to talk. Here's the deal. You got hairy legs.
Certified 2020.
Everybody vote if you can for your favorite woman or man. You can stream this track from Japan to Finland.
Get the song here. Have a great day and a great life. And don't forget to wear a...
So, I'm a day late. I wanted to do this yesterday. But on Saturday, it was decided that fascism, the course of fascism in this country, has been slightly diverted. And we have gone toward the path of neoliberalism.
I learned a lot. And I learned that, I learned a lot. Anyway, Bo is associated here. Anyway, the point I want to make is, I learned so much. I learned black, white, all colors, all backgrounds, but I mean, come on, man. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot, you know. Come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. What I have to do is I have to continue talking about the things. Come on, man. I came down here because I remember the first bumper sticker I saw. I learned that I got hairy legs that turned blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. And I learned about kids jumping on my lap. I love kids jumping on my lap. Oh, I'm in trouble. What are we, nuts? Dead. You know. Come on, man. Give me a little break here. Get a life. Taking cocaine or not? What do you think? Huh? Come on, man. Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds, but I mean, come on, man. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot, you know. Come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. Come on, man. Well, Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. I can hardly wait to meet with that guy who is the stable genius. Come on, man. I am very willing to let the public know my physical, my physical as well as my mental fitness. Come on, man. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids. Come on, man. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record. I know a lot of weed smoking. Come on, man. Black, white, all colors, all backgrounds, but I mean, come on, man. Men, women, gay, straight, everyone deserves a shot, you know. Come on, man. You know the thing. You know what I mean? You know the thing. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Why the hell would I take a test? I am, come on, man.
What the fuck, bro?
You guys ready for another jam? Trump fell off back. Oh, in that video, why was he? I don't know. Animation, who knows? Anybody wants a shirt that says this or abolish ICE?
We did the disco funk dance.
My lady's making them.
If you don't trust me with the present team, I will draw on the best of us. Like Corn Pop. He chose a path of hope and light. He was generous and humble to all of us, not just a few at the top. This is our moment to make hope and history rhyme with passion and purpose. Let us begin, you and I, together. Let's do it for Corn Pop. Let's do it for him. He tell us we can't stop. He tell us to win. Let's do it for Corn Pop. It's what he would want. He tell us to rise like the morning sun. We'll sing Corn Pop. We can't stop. Time and time again. Corn Pop. We won't stop. We'll never give up, my friend. Corn Pop. We can find that sweet spot. Time and time again. Corn Pop. We won't stop.
Coldplay is the best band in the world. My God, that's unthinkable.
Oh my God.
Coldplay's decent.
I am once again
Decent at best.
asking for your vote for Joe. He will stand up and fight for you. This
God, he's the best.
Price of failure is just too great. We must come together. The future is at stake.
Millions of jobs gone. Trump's reality show.
Fuck that guy. He's the reason Bernie lost.
Actually care they get this pandemic under control.
I know a predator when I see one. So make no mistake, Trump will use.
I'm happy for you today. I'll be mad at you
Look in
tomorrow.
their eyes and ask, where were you when the stakes were so high?
Americans have never, ever let their country down. We get back up together. Now, some way, somehow. Let's do it for Corn Pop. Let's do it for him. He tell us we can't stop. He tell us to win. Let's do it for Corn Pop. It's what he would want. He tell us to rise like the morning sun. We'll sing Corn Pop. We can't stop. Time and time again.
what he would want. He'd tell us to rise like the morning sun.
Sorry, guys. Acapella is not better than rock and roll.
We'll say, forward pop, we can't stop. Time and time again. Forward pop, we won't stop. We'll never give up, my friend. Forward pop, we can find that sweet spot. Time and time again. Forward pop, we won't stop.
Corvettes are better than Porsches.
Yo-ho! Thanks to Mischief for sponsoring this video.
Like a translator for your dog.
You're getting nervous, man.
How much longer we got for this video? Okay, we're a minute 12 in. We got an hour left of this song. All right, we're just gonna keep it going the whole hour.
You're getting nervous, man.
Okay, fuck this song. Think I was really gonna play that for an hour? Come on, guys. Alright. So, as I've said the past few weeks, not a fan of Joe Biden at all. Not somebody I'd really ever want to defend him too much unless somebody's saying some crazy, like, conspiratorial defamation shit in chat where I have to, for my own well-being of not wanting to get banned as a streamer, have to be like, yo, you can't say that. Yeah, not a fan of him. Don't plan on defending him too much over the next 4 years unless he actually does something good. But like I've said, I think a Joe Biden presidency is just going to lead to nonstop concessions to the Republican Party, especially since they control the Senate now, unless these two runoff races in Georgia end up going both Democrat. It's going to be a Republican Senate, which is what Joe Biden is going to blame everything on. He's not going to push for super leftist anything, and he's just going to say, oh, well, I tried a little bit to get the public option for healthcare passed, but the Republicans are just blocking me, you know, and he's not going to do anything about it. Whereas Bernie in that situation would get shit done. Obama could have gotten more done. All that stuff about gridlock and Mitch McConnell blocking them, he could have tried a lot harder to get things done. He just didn't want to because he was really a neoliberal, which a neoliberal is a centrist Democrat, which means that they're in the center of both parties, but leaning toward the right. Leaning toward the Republican side most of the time, unless it comes to like social issues like LGBTQIA issues, other things along like social justice stuff, like, but not even all the way. They're not even always there. You hear people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, the last guy that got shot by the police like a week or two ago, in their statement, without even really talking too much about the pain and suffering that the African-American community is going through. They just went right to saying, but looting and rioting is wrong. Fucking idiots. So Everything would have been so much better under a Bernie presidency, man. Fuck. But, like I said earlier, the course of fascism in the country has been slightly diverted. Fascism domestically. Foreign, we're still going to continue doing the normal fascism America's been doing for decades. But domestically, we might see some of these kids reunited with their families. We're not going to be doing hysterectomies on women at the border. Like inhumane shit. But will things get better for the working class people in the next 4 years? I don't think so. We'll see though, and I will be honest with you and tell you if he's doing a good job or not. You can always count on me to do that. But with all that being said about me not really digging him, we're gonna listen to his him address the nation when he won.
Hello, my fellow Americans, and the people who brought me to the dance, Delawareans. I see my buddy Senator Tom Carper down there, and I think Senator Coons is there, and I think the governor's around. And is that Ruth Ann?
Really?
Former Governor Ruth
It's
Ann
not
Ritter.
about this guy today or yesterday. Yesterday was the real celebration. I couldn't celebrate because my fucking shit was all broken, having a real shit couple days. But
the people of this nation have spoken.
It's not about this guy winning.
They've
It's
delivered
about
us a clear
this.
victory, a convincing victory, a victory for we the people. We've won with the most votes ever cast on a presidential ticket in the history of the nation. 74 million. What I must admit is surprised.
You know why there's so many more people voted? Because of universal mail-in ballots.
Cities in all parts of the country, indeed across the world, an outpouring of joy, of hope, renewed faith in tomorrow. Bring a better day. And I'm humbled by the trust and confidence you placed in me.
Let's get some emotes in chat, guys. Come on. Even you guys that have been quiet through all these political talks that don't like to talk. Get some, come on. Poggies. Trump is fucking gone. You supported him at all. Like, you better question, like, why you like me.
I work with all my heart, with the confidence
Going again.
of the
Just
whole
going
people,
again.
to win the confidence of all of you. And for that is what America, I believe, is about. It's about people. And that's what our administration will be all about. I sought this office to restore the soul of America, to rebuild the backbone of this nation.
God, just playing this and seeing Trump is gone on the screen, like, I don't even care about this EDM music at all. I play it on the screen for fun, to be funny. But, like, seeing this, oh my God, it feels so good.
It's the honor of my lifetime that so many millions of Americans have voted for that vision. And now, the work of making that vision is real. It's the task of our time. Folks, as I said many times before, I'm Jill's husband. And I would not be here without their love and tireless support of Jill. And my son, Hunter, and Ashley, my daughter, and all our grandchildren, and their spouses, and all our family. They're my heart. Jill's a mom, a military mom, an educator. She has dedicated her life to education. But teaching isn't just what she does, it's who she is. For American
God, you
educators,
guys,
it's a
not
great
even
day for y'all.
fucking, come on.
You're gonna have one of your own in the White House. And Jill's gonna make a great first lady. I'm so proud of her. Well, I'll have the honor of serving with the fantastic vice president you just heard from, Kamala Harris. country has the first woman, the first black woman, the first woman from
all I'm gonna say
South Asian descent, the
is
first
silence
immigrants
is
ever
violence.
elected in this country. Don't tell me it's not possible in the United States. It's long overdue. And we're reminded tonight of those who fought so hard for so many years to make this happen. But once again, America's bent the arc of the moral universe more toward justice. Kamala, Doug, like it or not, your family, to become an honorary Biden, there's no way out. All those of you volunteers who worked the polls in the middle of this pandemic, local elected officials, you deserve a special thanks from the entire nation. And to my campaign team, all the volunteers, and all who gave so much of themselves to make this moment possible, I owe you. I owe you. I owe you everything. To all those who supported us, I'm proud of the campaign we built and ran. I'm proud of the coalition we put together. The broadest and most diverse coalition in history. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Progressives, Moderates, Conservatives, young, old, urban, suburban,
I get it though. Some of you guys could have just grown up around really conservative parents or something like that, and you just don't really question what you hear too much. You just kind of hear stuff. Politics are annoying. They're hard. You know, it's tough. But silence is violence. If you're not constantly being an anti-fascist, if you're not anti-fascism, like the past 4 years you haven't been against some of the things that have been going on, and you've just been okay with it, or like you think it's kind of funny, or like triggering the libs, SJWs, like you should question why you like me. You should. Because I am the antithesis of all that.
But now, let's give each other a chance.
So like I said, if anybody wants a defund the police shirt, they're going to be on the market soon, or an abolish ICE shirt. There will be a link below eventually.
Lower the temperature. See each other again. Listen to each other again. And to make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as our enemies. They are not our enemies. They are Americans. They're Americans.
And another reason I say that is because, like, question why you like me, because like I've said many times, if you are on the right side of the spectrum, the Republican, conservative side, 99% of the comedians, the writers, entertainers, musicians, everyone you listen to is a leftist. And you're just going to get pushed out of circles with the ideals that you might have. Who knows?
I believe it's this. Americans have called upon us to marshal the forces of decency, the forces of fairness, to marshal the forces of science, and the forces of hope in the great battles of our time. The battle to control the virus, the battle to build prosperity, the battle to secure your family's health care, the battle to achieve racial justice and root out systemic racism in this country.
I was going to go on to a different Bernie video, but I think we should just watch this, just for history's sake. Like, we defeated Trump.
Save our planet by getting climate under control.
Not by much. I mean, kind of.
The battle to
Not as
restore
much
decency, defend democracy, and give everybody in this country
Bernie.
a fair shot. That's all they're asking for, a fair shot. Folks, our work begins with getting COVID under control. We cannot repair the economy, restore our vitality, or relish life's most precious moments, hugging our grandchildren, our children, our birthdays, weddings, graduations.
He does love hugging children.
We've
seen videos of it the other night.
On Monday,
Doesn't make him a pedophile, though.
A group of leading scientists and experts as transition advisors to help.
The moment one of those children come forth, though, and say there's some allegations, then
into an action blueprint that will start on January the 20th, 2021.
we will call him that. What up, Zoop? Damn, did you miss all that? That's a bummer, dude.
Science It will be constructed out of compassion, empathy, and concern. I will spare no effort, none,
Wait,
or
what
any
happened?
commitment.
What? What's happening to my video?
The Biden-Harris COVID plan and convert it into an action blueprint that will start on January the 20th, 2021. That plan will be built on bedrock science. It will be constructed out of
What is
compassion,
going on?
empathy, and concern. I will spare no effort, none, or any commitment to turn around this pandemic.
That might have been the
Folks,
video.
I'm a proud Democrat.
I think there was something wrong with the live stream, maybe.
But I
45. Trump was the 45th president. Now we got Joe Biden, 46.
will govern as an American president.
And since you missed it, all the talk, this is not about him. Here, I'll do it again for you, Zoop. This is not about Joe Biden
I'll work
having
as
won.
hard for those who didn't vote for me.
This is about
as
something way
those
greater than
who
that.
did. Let this grim era of demonization in America.
Joe Biden is not the
begin
answer
to
to our
end
problems in this
here
country.
and now.
I fear things are going to get worse. But
The refusal
we can take celebration
of
in one
Democrats
thing.
and Republicans to cooperate with one another.
Oh, wait, wrong
it's
video.
Not some mysterious force beyond our control.
We can take
It's a
pride in
decision,
knowing one thing,
a
and that we
choice
got
made.
accomplished one thing
We
today,
can decide not to
or
cooperate,
this last week.
Then we can decide to cooperate. And I believe that this is part of the mandate given to us from the American people. They want us to cooperate in their interest. That's the choice I'll make. And I'll call on Congress, Democrats, Republicans alike, to make that choice with me. The American story is about slow yet steadily widening the opportunities in America. And make no mistake, too many dreams have been deferred for too long. We must make the promise of the country real for everybody, no matter their race, their ethnicity, their faith, their identity, or their disability. Folks, America has always been shaped by inflection points, by moments in time where we've made
yeah,
hard
that's what it's
decisions
about.
who we are.
We
and
don't
what
care
we
about
want
this
to
guy
be.
that much.
Lincoln in 1860, coming to save the Union. FDR in 1932, promising a beleaguered country a new deal. JFK in 1960, pledging a new frontier. And 12 years ago, when Barack Obama made history, he told us, yes, we can. Well, folks, we stand at an inflection point. We have an opportunity to defeat despair, to build a nation of prosperity and purpose. We can do it. I know we can. I've long talked about the battle for the soul of America. We must restore the soul of America. Our nation is shaped by the constant battle between our better angels and our darkest impulses. And what presidents say in this battle matters. It's time for our better angels to prevail. Tonight, the whole world is watching America. And I believe at our best, America is a beacon for the globe. We will lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example.
God, these liberals just love floating around these just like empty
Many of you heard me
just
say,
words, just that
I've
just
always
make them
believed we
sound
can
like they're
define America
great, but they're
in
not.
one word:
Ugh.
possibilities. That in America.
All right, is it almost
everyone
over?
should be
Fucking,
given
I
an
just want to play
opportunity
this just to
go
play it,
as
you
far
know?
as their dreams and God-given ability will take them. You see, I believe in the possibilities of this country. We're always looking ahead to an America that's freer and more just, ahead to an America that creates jobs with dignity and respect, ahead of America that cures diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's. Ahead to an America that never leaves anyone behind. Ahead of America that never gives up, never gives in. This is a great nation. It's always been a bad bet to bet against America. We're a good people. This is the United States of America. And there's never been anything we've been not able to do when we've done it together. Folks, in the last days of the campaign, I began thinking about a hymn that means a lot to me and my family, particularly my deceased son, Bo. It captures the faith that sustains me and which I believe sustains America. And I hope it can provide some comfort and solace to 230,000 Americans who've lost a loved one to this terrible virus this year. My heart goes out to each and every one of you. Hopefully this hymn gives you solace as well. And it goes like this. And he will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, and make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of his hand.
Just weightless words, man.
Now together, on eagle's wings, we embark on the work that God and history have called upon us to do. With full hearts and steady hands, with faith in America and in each other, with love of country, a thirst for justice, let us be the nation that we know we can be. A nation united, a nation strengthened, a nation healed. The United States of America, ladies and gentlemen, there's never been anything we've tried we've not been able to do. So remember, as our grandpapa used to say when I walked out of his home when I was a kid up in Scranton, he said, "Joey, keep the faith." And our grandmother, when she was alive, she yelled, "No, Joey, spread it. Spread the faith. God love you all. May God bless America, and may God protect our troops." Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, Trump is gone. It's enough with the songs for now. Let's listen to what Bernie has to say.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate my friends Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on their historic victory. This was the most important election in modern American history because the very future of our democracy and the rule of law in our country was at stake. And thankfully, because of the efforts of people all across this country, including millions of progressive grassroots activists, Black and white, Latino, Asian American, and Native American, who worked their hearts out, we were able to win. So I just want to, once again, thank everybody for their incredibly hard work in making this day possible. Give yourselves a pat on the back because you deserve it. You really do. But obviously, given the enormous crises that we face as a people, our work is not done. We have taken a major step forward by defeating Trump, but that is just the beginning. Now a whole new chapter of hard work begins. And in my view, the most important task in front of us is to make sure that a new Congress and a new administration understand that we cannot go back to business as usual. That would be a terrible, terrible mistake.
Which he means Obama.
We cannot go back to a situation
Bill Clinton.
in which the corporate elite and their lobbyists dominate the economic and political life of this country.
And you know what we're going to see happen in the next few months when Joe Biden is floating around and picking his cabinet? We're going to see not only Republicans, like he's already talked about asking John Kasich to be in his cabinet, a fucking lifelong Republican. We're going to have probably like CEOs of banks and health insurance companies and stuff like that in his cabinet. When Obama ran for president back in 2008, he ran on a progressive message, built a huge like grassroots coalition like Bernie did. But then when he got elected, he said peace to that grassroots organization coalition that he built. And he brought like the CEOs of Goldman Sachs and all these like really moderate corporatists, people into his cabinet, and it just became everything I've described about like a very moderate Republican presidency. So that's what we're going to see happen with Joe Biden, and that's what Bernie's talking about. We have to fight against this. If we don't, and it ends up being business as usual, like I keep saying, in 4 years, Trump, somebody worse than Trump, is going to come. Now, there's like, who else is going to be this like once in a lifetime figure to run like Trump? Like, there's Bernie, obviously, but like even Trump is like, he's like this famous reality TV star. Like, we had Reagan, who was like in movies and stuff, but this is different. This was like a media mogul, like his whole life. And so like, who would come across and be worse than this guy? There's going to be a lot more people way, way, way worse than him. But will they be as like charismatic and able to speak to their base like Trump did? I don't know, maybe. I heard Hassan say Tucker Carlson is somebody that could do that effectively, and I kind of agree. But at the same time, I don't see people voting for Tucker Carlson in the same way they voted for Trump. But now that I say that when I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, of course they would. I'm like, what? He's perfect for them. He tricks all those people into thinking he's like just a regular old guy, just like them. Regular old member of the working class. He's not. All right, let's go on with what Bernie has to say.
We need together to create a people's agenda of, by, and for working families of this country, and a powerful movement that demands that that agenda be implemented. But today is a day of celebration. We have accomplished something that our children, our grandchildren, and our future generations will look back upon and say to us, thank you. As I speak to you now, it appears that Joe Biden...
We'll see. If we don't get a hold of climate control, future generations are not going to be happy with us, and they're going to look at every single one of us, no matter how much like some of us were on the left and trying to do our part. They're going to look at every single one of us like we are the reason that the earth fucking burnt up and is inhabitable. Extinction scientists say we're in like the 6th mass extinction already because of climate change. It's already begun.
Is on his way to win the electoral votes of Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and become our next president. He is also winning the popular vote by over 4 million votes, a number which will likely go over 5.
November 7th.
I want to take this opportunity to congratulate
so that was
As I speak to you now, it appears that Joe Biden...
Okay, so this video is after. All right, let's watch it anyway.
...is on his way
see what he has to say.
to win the electoral votes of Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, and become our next president. He is also winning the popular vote by over 4 million votes, a number which will likely go over 5 million when all the votes are counted. As I've said many times, this election was not just about Joe Biden versus Donald Trump and what their views on the issues were. This election went much, much deeper than that. It was an election about whether we end pathological lying in the White House and retain democracy and the rule of law in our country. And thank God.
Well, as we learned from those videos the other day about the Electoral College, we're not a true democracy. It is not one person, one vote.
It appears that we have done that. In the days and weeks to come, I am sure that everyone in the world is going to be taking credit for Biden's apparent victory. And the media and the pundits will have their views as well. But let me just say this. I want to take this opportunity to thank progressive grassroots...
What he said right there is they're already doing it. They're blaming... Nobody went out and campaigned harder for Biden than Bernie did. Bernie was out there doing rallies for him in the midst of like COVID, which is still going on, risking his life to get Joe Biden elected, going out and doing rallies. at times when nobody else other than Bernie was going out for him. When Kamala and everybody, they were Obama, they were all quarantining. Bernie was out there. What's the liberal media already doing, and the centrist media? They're already blaming Bernie and the progressives for why the Senate didn't go blue and why we lost so many House seats. What have I been saying this whole time? They're not really Democrats. They're all centrist Republicans, and they're going to do everything they can to get Joe Biden to push a centrist agenda, to go toward austerity, like we saw in the Clinton era, where it was nonstop cuts to social welfare programs and other things, so they could try to cut the budget, get the budget, or cut the deficit. Like, fucking who cares about the deficit? We print money. So it's already happening. Like, news has already been, like, since the night of the election, like before it was even called for Biden or Trump, they were blaming Bernie, AOC, the squad, and everybody. Even though the House seats that won were all backed by the squad and progressives, and the ones that lost all ran centrist neoliberal agendas that where they weren't bold on any stances. They weren't bold on Medicare for all, the Green New Deal, free college. And that's what we're going to experience, is a big pushback toward a pushback against leftism, progressivism. I mean, it's leftism. That's a word too. I said this to my lady last night, or the night before last, I think, where I said, I don't even think the Democrats like feel like they defeated Trump. I don't think that's what they really cared about. I feel like this election, they feel like they defeated Bernie and the left. And I feel like they think that they finally killed like this progressive momentum that he started 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago. And that's true. They really do. They think it's dead, and they're going to do everything they can on the news to talk against it and try to just kill all the progress we made. Medicare for all is one of the like 70% of like Americans want government-backed healthcare like Medicare for all. I don't know the Green New Deal statistics, but it's very popular and would like do nothing but create millions of new jobs in renewable energy. I shouldn't even have to say what free education would do. It would make it to where college isn't a fucking privilege, it's a right for everybody, and we'll have a more educated society in a decade because of it. We'll have a lot less Trumpers. People will get educated on what racism is. There'll still be a lot of them, but like, if free education happens, I guarantee some racists will like become neolibs at least. Yeah. This next 4 years is going to be a battle against the libs to keep like leftist ideals alive and to try to get them passed even, but that's going to be even more tough.
Roots organizations all across this country for their extraordinary efforts in helping to make this victory possible. You made the phone calls, you texted, you registered voters, you did virtual rallies, you distributed literature.
All right, I'm just going to say, the more you guys stonewall me in chat when I'm talking about politics,
knowing the importance, the extraordinary importance.
Silence is violence, guys. That's all I'm going to say.
You did everything that you could and more. Together, you built widespread support for Biden among young people, people of color, and the working class of our country. In my view, Biden's success would not have been possible without your extraordinary
The more
efforts.
I get stonewalled, the more I'm just like, you know what?
Thank you
I
very
don't ever want
much
to play games again. I'm
for
just
the
going to do
incredible
politics streams
hard
and
work
like
that you did.
build that.
And one of the areas, by the way,
All
where
day,
the
every
progressive
day.
movement had real success was getting more and more young people
I couldn't do that, though.
into the voting
I like playing
booths
video games too much.
and into the political process. The latest estimates that I have seen show that over 53% of young people ages 18 to 29 voted, which not only eclipses 2016's turnout rate, but would be the highest youth turnout rate in American history. And by the way, those young people voted overwhelmingly for Joe Biden and other Democrats. But tonight, as we celebrate our apparent election victory, we understand that our struggle is not over. It has just begun. We have accomplished much, but much more needs to be done. Now, not only do we have to win the 2 Senate runoff elections in Georgia coming up in January so that we can have Democratic control over the Senate, but we're going to have to do everything humanly possible to make sure that Congress and the new president move rapidly and aggressively to address the enormous crises facing our country. In the next several weeks, I will present to the Senate an agenda that I would like to see passed in the first 100 days of the new Congress. This is an agenda that, among many other proposals, will include a strong COVID-19 relief package that protects the unemployed and small businesses. It is an agenda that will end starvation wages in America, make it easier for workers to join unions, and provide equal pay for equal work. It is a people's agenda that will create millions of good-paying jobs as we rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. It is an agenda that makes health care as a human right as we move toward a Medicare for all single-payer program, and an agenda that substantially lowers the outrageously high cost of prescription drugs in this country. It is an agenda that will make possible for all working-class young people to gain a college education without going into debt. And it will radically improve our dysfunctional child care system. It is an agenda that will create millions of good jobs as we lead the world in combating climate change and transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel into energy efficiency and sustainable energy. It is an agenda that will finally demand that the wealthiest people and largest corporations in America start paying their fair share of taxes. It is an agenda that will take on the systemic racism that prevails throughout our country, as well as our broken and racist criminal justice system. It is an agenda that will lead to comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship for the undocumented. There is an enormous amount of work that must be done. And as we go forward, I look forward to working with all of you. So once again, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate everyone who played a role in making this enormously important victory possible. Thank you for all that you have done. Let's go forward together.
All right.
After election,
we're gonna watch this one last video, and then I think I'm gonna get off for the night. I'm not feeling it, guys. I feel like it's been a bad couple days, and like I put in a lot of work, like in thought into like the intros that I do, like all this like music and stuff and dancing, like putting all that together, thinking about it, and it's just like to not get any kind of like just like chat, like poggies or anything, like or any reaction, like what I'm saying sometimes, just like I just don't even want to.
Day in the U.S., all eyes were on these states
Silence
where
is violence when it
this
comes to
was
this
happening.
type of political stuff.
These poll workers are counting ballots that would decide the outcome of this election. But there's another reason why these states are critical. Republican lawyers have filed lawsuits in each one of these places in an attempt to sue their way to electoral victory. The one in Pennsylvania is about whether a portion of the ballots should be counted. Like everywhere else in the U.S., Pennsylvania had a mix of in-person and mail-in voting, and the difference between which type of voting Trump and Biden voters chose was huge. All of these mail-in votes that arrived before Election Day couldn't be counted until then. And ordinarily in Pennsylvania, any ballots that arrive after Election Day don't count at all. But because of the pandemic and mail delays, the state's highest court ruled that any ballots postmarked on Election Day and received up to 3 days after would be counted. But that batch of votes became contentious.
The Trump campaign very much wants these ballots thrown out, and it's because Democrats in this election were much more likely to vote by mail than Republicans were.
So the Trump campaign filed a motion with the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the Pennsylvania court decision and throw out any ballots received after Election Day.
But should those 3 extra days of ballots matter, we believe will prevail at the Supreme Court.
Their hope is that the conservative majority Supreme Court will back them up. But what is the role of the Supreme Court in this election and for the future?
Good evening, everyone. This promises to be one of the closest races in American presidential history.
The 2000 presidential race looms large over the question of whether a Supreme Court could step in to decide the fate of an election. In that case, the race came down to a single state, Florida, where the Supreme Court halted a recount, which handed George W. Bush the presidency with only 537 votes over Al Gore. It was an extremely close race.
I am honored, and I guess I better go write an inaugural speech.
But the 2020 election is entirely different. Republican lawyers have filed lawsuits in several states, but they likely won't alter the course of the election. That's because they involve a small percentage of ballots in comparison to Biden's lead, like one in Georgia that involved allegations of only 53 missing ballots, a state that Biden had been leading by nearly 2,000 votes by November 6th. Or another in Pennsylvania, which involved 93 ballots that had errors fixed, where Joe Biden was leading by at least 7,000 votes. Even a lawsuit in Nevada, which involves allegations of 3,000 out-of-state voters, wouldn't do much in a state where Joe Biden was already ahead by 22,000 votes.
So you're seeing these kind of rinky-dink lawsuits in a few states. I mean, they're hard to take seriously.
This is Ian Millhiser. He covers the Supreme Court for Vox.
Certainly, I think some of these lawsuits are more about creating a press narrative than they are about actually trying to win any kind of legal dispute.
There are some serious allegations out there that deserve being pursued.
And the rule of law has lost its grip on the election process.
In other words, they sow distrust among Trump supporters who are showing up to polling locations claiming, without evidence, that the process isn't fair.
Left the voting system wide open to voter fraud. Joe Biden's covering up this election. He's stealing it.
They claim that there is evidence of voter fraud. They still haven't produced evidence of that.
The president's allegations of large-scale fraud and theft of the election are just not substantiated.
There is one thing that I'm really worried about. This Pennsylvania lawsuit rests on a really radical and transformational theory.
Ian is referring to the Trump campaign's request that the Supreme Court throw out ballots received within 3 days of the election. That motion also won't alter the results, because when Joe Biden won Pennsylvania to become the president-elect, those late-arriving ballots weren't included in the official counts. They had been set aside pending a ruling. But what makes the lawsuit radical is that after the state Supreme Court granted a ballot extension in September, Pennsylvania Republicans took it to the U.S. Supreme Court a month later as part of an attack on mail-in voting. A 4-4 tied decision without Amy Coney Barrett upheld the law, which is why Pennsylvania kept the extension. But the 4 conservative justices indicated how they might rule on future election laws. And that would depend on a line in the Constitution about how state legislatures should determine the time, place, and manner of holding elections.
And the way that word legislature has always been interpreted, going back at least more than a century, is that the word legislature means whatever the valid lawmaking process is within that state.
In addition to literal state legislatures, that includes the state constitution, the state Supreme Court that interpret those laws, and the governor's right to veto election laws.
But there are at least 4 justices who think that the word legislature should be read sort of hyperliterally, meaning only the legislative branch of the state.
Which means the state legislature alone could drastically impact voting rights. In states with Republican-led state legislatures, which are a majority of them, That would mean they would have the ability to create election laws that manufacture electoral advantages for Republicans in future elections. Actions like gerrymandering electoral districts, voter ID laws which target Democratic voters, and closing polling places in Democratic districts. And unlike Democratic legislatures, they could look to the conservative majority Supreme Court for support.
Will the legitimate winner of the presidential election be sworn in as president on January 20? I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. But if the question you're asking me is, do I feel comfortable with the long-term health of U.S. democracy? No, not at all.
All right, guys, get out of here. We beat Trump. That's all that matters.